digital courses for teachers website so that folks who are unable to attend a particular session can view them later. Okay, so welcome aboard, everyone. I'm going to present my screen to you and show you a few things about Google Meet and some of the tool options that you have to help run smoother Google Meets with colleagues and students. So here we go. I'm just going to share my screen. It should kick in a moment. All righty, here we are. Okay, now what I would like to share with you is a couple of tools that you have to use. Up at the very top, you'll notice there's a toolbar with three pretty special options up top. The grid is actually an extension that has been uploaded on all of our accounts at Newtown PS. What's neat about this is it enables us to view each other a la Brady Bunch. So we have some options here. We can click only show participants with video. So we can click that off. I like to leave it on in case someone has a question, even if they don't have their video, if they have just maybe an icon image. If they speak, that image will vibrate. A little green circle will appear around it, so I'll know that that particular person is talking. In addition to that, you can include yourself in the grid or not, and you can enable the grid view by default. So I find this is such a helpful feature that you want to take advantage of. So to the right of that, I have the people icon. This tells me there are 20 folks in the workshop. So if I click on that, I can see who's here, who's muted, who's not. And again, whoever is talking, for instance, I have my mic on and I'm talking, and you could see the little green dots are kind of glowing there. Now, to the far right is the chat bar. Now, I really, really like this, especially when I'm presenting, because, and I'm going to click that over here on I have two monitors here. What I like about this is, if I click on that chat bar, I can see any questions, or as an attendee or participant, I can ask any questions of the presenter. And I like that because if I don't want to interrupt someone who is presenting, but I have an important question I want them to address, I'll just type my question here. Can you speak slowly? I know I tend to talk fast. Please let me know if you want me to slow down or show something again. Okay, there we go. So when I hit that little paper airplane, my comment appears right here. And that's the chat feature. So any questions you have, just pop them right on there. Okay, Justine Hennessy indicated that she does not have the grid icon on her Google Meet. If you click the bar above, it should appear. It will disappear if you're on something else. For instance, I'm on chat now, so the bar disappeared. So Justine, try to give that click on your screen a click, and it should appear right there. Okay, let's see what other questions we have. Okay, Laura Cooper, can you see my screen now? I hope so. If not, text me again and I'll troubleshoot. All righty. Oh, good question. Can you turn off the chat feature with students so they don't use it inappropriately? That's a great question. Here's what I would recommend. You don't want to turn that off, but there's something else you can do. Let me show you. I was going to talk about it later, but since you asked now, perfect timing. We're going to go back to people. So let's say Carol Skillis, a dear friend, did not mute. I could mute her. So I can you'll notice if I click that arrow beside the participant, I can hit the pin, which will pin them to the top of the screen, or I can mute her, but she's already muted, so I don't have to mute her. Or here, if she's really causing trouble, I can just click that little minus sign and remove her from the meet. So depending on the behavior of your students, you have some tools at your avail there to use. Okay, great. Let's see if we have any other questions. All right. Oh, Laura Cooper, I don't know why you can't see my screen. I'm so sorry. Um, hmm. You know what I recommend, Laura? Maybe if you end the meet by going to the very bottom, clicking the very bottom of your screen, and just hitting leave call, hit that, and then click the meeting ID access code again from the email I sent yesterday, and maybe by joining again, it will restore the defaults. Okay, now on the bottom of our screen, we have some other tools. Let me just familiarize you with those. So on the far left, we have meeting details. Oops, sorry, let me click that arrow again. Now, this is pretty nice. You have the Meet URL. So let's say you want to invite someone else. You can always copy and paste that. If someone doesn't have access to a laptop with video, you can even have them dial in using their phone. You could copy the joining information here. Now, let's say you're all meeting as a PLC and you want to talk about specific assessments that you are working on together collaboratively. You can just click attachments and upload any documents or attachments that you're going to be addressing in your meeting, and you'll have them right there to refer to with a click. Now, one other thing I wanted to show you while we were up here, and I forgot, so let me just bounce back briefly. You can also invite someone else right from the People tab. So you can click the link below and send somebody a quick email, but it's much easier to type someone's email right in there. And let's invite my colleague, Jen Della Sala. So you would just enter in the person's name, click the name, and then hit send email, and they will get an invite. Okay, great. So those are some ways to invite others. So I'm going to go back to my tools on the bottom. So down below, let's say my dog started barking. I have 4 pit bulls in here right now snoozing on the couch, but that could all change if somebody knocks on the door and they start barking. I could mute myself, but that would kind of defeat the purpose of me presenting, but I would just click there. Let's unmute. I can turn my camera off by clicking that, and you won't see me. Or if I want to leave the call, maybe I get a phone call and I have to take the call and I don't want to disturb the meeting. I could leave the call, click off, go make my phone call, and then join the group again. So whatever you need to do, these are good tools. Now, this is really special. Turn on closed captioning. Watch this. I'm going to click on that. And as soon as that initializes, you're going to see something really cool happen. It is going to transcribe everything I'm saying pretty quickly. So if I had maybe a hearing impaired student or a student that didn't have, or even a colleague that didn't have speakers working on their device, we can all talk and this will pick up anybody's voice. And it's pretty sophisticated voice recognition technology. You can see how I'm talking at a regular speed. And it's just typing the whole thing. So this is almost like a transcript, which is a nice feature. I'm going to turn it off because it's a little irritating when you don't need it. So there we go. Now, if I wanted to present, I would click present now. But since I am presenting, it's telling me that I am presenting. On the far, far right, those 3 little dots, I'm going to click on those. Now, these are some more really, really handy options. If you wanted to record your meet, you would click record. Obviously, since we're recording right now, the only option is stop recording. I can also select change the layout. And there are some options there. Going to go back to my options here. Now, full screen, it speaks for itself. You can just get rid of all the tabs up top, but I'm going to leave them there because I may need to refer to them. We already talked about closed captions. Settings. This is really, really useful. So let me show you this. This is where you will find your audio and video settings. So this is pretty smart technology. When you start the meet, it automatically identifies your your microphone and speaker. So these are both running. I could test it by clicking that. But what I encourage you all to take note of is the video tab. So if I click on video, the video resolution defaults to a standard of 360 pixels. So you can click that pull down arrow over here and you can select high definition. So this is the send resolution. This is going to crisp my image as I'm sending you my screen top present. So now I can do the same for the receiving resolution. So as the presenter, I'm the send resolution and I want the receiving resolution and send resolution to both be 720 pixels. So you'll notice I changed, oops, sorry. I undid that one. Let me change that to high definition. So now both the send and receive resolution are maxed at 720 pixels, which should make the image sharper. So now I'm going to hit done. Normally when I start a meet, I set those to the high resolution from the get-go, but I didn't because I wanted to be able to show you how to do that. All right, now for more options, we could use a phone for audio. If you want to report a problem, if you're having a glitch, you could just click on that and it's like a chat help. And down below, we have an actual help button, which is kind of handy. There are all sorts of little Q's and A's here on how to start or join during the meeting. So it's like troubleshooting, settings, and that sort of thing. So it's pretty handy. So those, for the most part, are your options. Now, some really great ways to use Google Meet are obvious for collaboration, online meetings, and conferences. But I wanted to bring your attention to the fact that you could also record yourself. Maybe you want to do, maybe you have a weekly introduction of the unit you're doing and you're starting a skeleton project and you have an intro that you would like to do maybe in a Google Slides presentation. So that is a pretty neat way to use this as well. So what I want to do is show you how to do that. I'm going to open up, let me do summer reading. And I have a nice little summer reading presentation. Maybe this is the unit I'm introducing. Now watch how cool this is. I can go right to present and have this ready, right? So what I would do is I would go on my settings and I would hit start record. And I could then just give my introduction and I could talk about each of the slides as it's recording. I could talk about each of the books, the synopsis, what I liked about them, whatever. You could go through the whole thing. And then when you're done, hit escape. And then you would hit stop recording. And then what that is going to do is it will record that little video. So there's no image of you. It's really the image is just your presentation with your voiceover. Now, let's say you wanted to upload that to your Google Classroom page. Let's go to Classroom. All right. I'm going group. Let's just create an great. So now I'm going to add this, okay? Now, what Google does when it saves your presentation is it saves it in a folder called Meet Recordings. So let me show you that. Boop, boop, boop. So I am going to now search for that, Meet Recordings, and here it is. Open up that folder, and here is our book discussion. So I'm just going to double click on that. Okay, make sure that's the one I want. Good. Okay, that was a phony one that I uploaded earlier because I just wanted to show you one that's there. Excellent. So now I'm going to go back into Classroom, and I'm going to upload that. My drive. Sorry, I'm losing my voice here. Meet Recordings. There we go. So, book group. Here we go. Summer reading. Now, when you get these, let's just assign that right now. When you get these, let me show you what they look like. So here's one that I did on March 17th. This is a recording. So if this was the one I wanted to use, let's say this was my intro to my ceramics project that I wanted the kids to do, the best thing you could do as soon as that uploads is rename it immediately, because look at all these. I have no idea what these are. So you could click on it once, right click, and hit rename. Intro to ceramics unit. Okay, then hit OK. Then when you're in your Google Classroom page, it'll be easier to find it. Okay, so you could go in there, and we added the summer reading titles, although that wasn't the real video. I couldn't video over the voiceover of the presentation because I was already recording, but that's how you would find it. And let's attach that again. Let's edit this, and I'm going to add another video. So add, drive, and let's say this is the one we wanted. You just double check to make sure you don't want to accidentally upload anything there, and then hit save. So now if we look at that, you'll notice you could click on either of them, and so can your students, and they can view that little video clip of you. Now let's talk about how we can invite students to a Google Meet. I'm going to stop presenting for a sec. I just want to make sure. How can our face stay as the big or main picture? Okay, this is a great question, Kelly. You can pin it. You could pin yourself, okay? Since we upgraded the resolution, the grid is choppy, but my grid, oh, on the left is clear. Interesting. Okay. It sharpened it a bit for me because the resolution for me now is crisper. So we addressed that one. Let's see. Okay, so any more questions? I'm going to stop presenting because I want to see if anyone has a question. Oh, I am presenting, so let's hit stop. So any questions so far about the tools and options on Google Meet?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes, yes.
Can you invite people outside of our network as long as they have a Google account? Or is it only our network?
You can. Actually, I did a Google Meet with my sister the other night. You just have to type in their name. So.
As long as they have a Google account, though. If they
Nope. She's a charter, so I just sent her an invite. Yeah, you can send it outside of the district. Yep.
Okay. All right. Just curious.
Yep. What I'd like to share now is how to invite people to a Google Meet from Calendar. Now, I know you've all seen the tips for setting up and running secure Google Meet with students. After I ran the first Google Meet workshop 2 weeks ago, a teacher was playing with it, And she emailed me later and she said, you know, I was able to get back into your Meet after you left it. So I'm worried about my students getting back into a Meet after I leave it. And that's a really, really great question. How you can prevent that. If you kind of make the analogy, being in a Google Meet is like being in a classroom, but the classroom door has been left unopened and you arrived late and you come in and your kids are it's just mayhem in there. So what I recommend, if you do the math, we have kids that have been socially isolated for a while, are probably pretty fidgety of being home alone or maybe not being able to see their friends or whatever. If you start a Google Meet and they arrive before you, you probably don't want that to happen, especially given the fact that it could be recorded. So what I recommend you do is when you invite students to a Google Meet, that worksheet that we put together, let me just open that up for you. Here we go. Tips for setting up and running. You all got this. It's also on our digital resources for teacher website. This is really, really important. I shared this throughout the district just because it walks through everything with screenshots and it makes it a little easier. When you try to set up a Google Meet with students, nicknames don't work. Now, that's unfortunate because it's much easier to set up with a nickname, but here's why it doesn't work. You'll know that our email addresses are newtown.k12.ct.us. That's our extension. The student's extension is newtownps.org. So those two don't jive when we're trying to set up a Meet with a nickname. Okay, so when you want to start a Meet up with a nickname, this is great for colleagues. So let's do that now. I'm going to present again. Even though I'm already in a Meet, I can start another Meet. It's confusing, and I don't recommend it, but for explaining this, it's helpful. Okay, watch this. I'm going to go into my Drive. I am going to hit Meet. Okay, I can either click the icon. Now, okay, now when I hit continue, you'll notice it will ask me if I want to join, and I'll say yes, join now. And here's my nickname, PLC Assessment Team. It puts it all in one word. So you can invite people that way. Again, unfortunately, this does not work with students. So I'm going to log off this one. And I'm going to go back to this one. So while that's the quickest way to start a Google Meet, can't do it that way with kids. So what I'm going to do is walk you through the steps we took. We're about halfway through the workshop. This ends at 12, so we've got plenty of time. So what we're going to do to start it with students is you have to create a start time and an end time, because what that does is the students won't be able to join the Meet before you. Like this morning, before I opened my Join Meet link, Carol and Doug were there, and they were both very well behaved. So there were no issues. And of course, you've got adults here, so you don't have to worry so much about that. But you can imagine the potential chaos if it was a bunch of kids. So let's do this. I'm going to go to my calendar. This is really, really cool. So let's say, all right, everybody, let's go to, I say a happy hour would be in order today. After teaching 3 workshops, I think happy hour would be a good thing. So what I'm going to do is go to my calendar, and I'm in today, Friday. I'm going to just click on it. And I'm going to give it a name, happy hour. You don't want to name happy hour if you are meeting with students, of course, but this is just us. So I am going to hit add a time, because happy hour really wouldn't be good if it was all day. Kind of defeats the purpose. All right, so let's give this 5 o'clock. Not a.m. That would be a very unhappy happy hour. No, not 4 a.m. Sorry, folks. Here we go. 5 p.m. works. Perfect. Okay. Now, I want to select video conferencing. Now, notice when I do that, I have all of my info right here. So if I click on that, it'll go right to the Google Meet. So if I want to share that with students, I could easily do that. X out of that Meet. What I'm going to do though is, let's say, all right, let's take happy hour. That's a little too fun. Let's say this is a movie review. Maybe we had a movie club and we were meeting after school. Okay, movie review. All right. Now, what we're going to do is, let's say it's normally an hour long. Here's the trick. We have the start time, so kids can't get in before me. But we normally meet for an hour, but I want this meet to end officially before it actually ends. Now, the reason why I do that is, let's say we have our meeting and we stop at 6. What's good is if you give that an earlier time than your expected end time. Once you end the meet and you want to make sure you're the last person out of there, that will have ended actually before you physically close the meet and end it. That disables anybody from going in and joining the meet after you end it. So let's go to more options. Now, if I was clicking this or setting this up with teachers and it was a happy hour, okay, I could invite them. Let's say there were 4 of us and we all wanted to get together. I could add friends. I could add anybody. It could be anybody from the district, my sister, etc. So if we wanted to just send this to these guys, I would hit save. And then it would ask me if I wanted to send an invite. Yes. Okay. Now notice it says external guests. Remember Carol asked, can you invite somebody from outside of the district? Yes, you can. This is my sister's charter email address. So it asks for confirmation to invite an external guest, and I will say yes. Great. So there is our movie review happy hour with adults. Now, all of the meet info is here. So when Carol and my sister get this invite, they have all of the join information right there. They can join by phone, or they could just click on this link. They will get a 10-minute reminder before the meet begins, and they could just click right on that and they're good to go. Now, with students, all right, let's go back in here and edit this. Now, this is going to be our movie review with students, and let's say our class meets at 2 o'clock. And we normally go 2 to 3, but we want this to end before our actual meet ends. Okay. Now, I do not want to invite all of my students there, right? Because this would take forever. You have a class of 25 kids. That's not good. That would take forever to get there. So what I'm going to do is I am going to click this information. Notice my meeting ID or access code is right here. I'm going to copy that. And I am going to paste that I'm going to create a new assignment. So movie review. Okay, now given everybody's technological advantages or disadvantages at home. You may not want to make this mandatory for students only because they may be dealing with limited technology. Maybe they have an older sister that needs the computer at this time during class. But what I would recommend is making it optional. And I'm going to pop the link in here, right? This is the meeting ID access code. And I'm going to add the link right there. Now, what's cool about this, you may want to indicate the time. I think I said class begins at 2. So you could add a calendar time to this if you'd like. You could just write it right in your discussion, 2 o'clock, whatever. And I'm going to hit assign. Now, so this has already been assigned, but if a student tries to click and get in here, they won't be able to because it doesn't start it doesn't start until 2. So if they try to get in there, they will get a message that requires them to ask for permission. I know this is a lot of info, but it's all on that handout, so you don't even have to take notes. It's all in there, but I wanted to show you how you would find these things. So they would have to ask permission. Let's say it was 10 of 2 and you didn't join it. I always recommend that you join like 5 minutes before it begins anyway. But this way, students will not be able to enter that meet until you join and you're there. Okay, now when it ends, let's talk about ending that. It's really important. Let's fast forward to that meeting with the kids. So the meeting ended at 3, but I pre-ended it at 2:45. Always give it an end time before your expected actual end time. So what I would do is if we're ready to end the meet with the kids, okay, we notice that everybody else has left. However, there's that Carol Scholas troublemaker. She's still lingering in here. So let's pretend everybody else had logged off, but somebody's still lingering. Remember, you could click that down arrow and you can remove them from the meet. So you are the last person there. If they're in there and you leave, even though you set the end time, they're in that room. So basically, by setting the end time, you're shooing everybody out and you're locking the door behind you. Okay, so that's the analogy. So if somebody's lingering, you just click that, remove them, everybody's gone, then you're good to go and you could hit leave call, which would end the meet. All right, I'm going to stop. I'm not presenting. Any questions?
Yeah.
Yes, let me hear it.
You posted that in under classwork. Could you post it under stream, or is it have to?
Yep.
You can do either one. Stream.
You can do either one.
You don't have to use it as an assignment.
No, you could do a stream. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
I'd like you to review again. This is Tom. I was wondering, Lisa, if you could review again how to invite my students. If I have 25 kids in my class and I want to set up a Google Meet with that said class, and I go to my Google Classroom, is there a way for me to access all of those emails that are in that classroom quickly so that they all can just go in?
Here's my recommendation, Tom. When you're trying to add it to Classroom this way, without even meeting, or rather without even typing any emails, you can just make it an announcement and just say, join us at 2 o'clock for our Google Meet, and paste the link right there. Then they'll get this as an assignment. So all they have to do is when they open this up, they hit class video meeting and they go right to it. So
okay, I see.
Yeah.
Because I noticed like when they set up meetings with faculty and administrators and stuff like that, when you get that invitation, it has everybody's email on that page where you click that access code. Does that happen with the students as well? Like if they get the invitation, will it have all of those students' names on there or not?
Well, they're not going to get an invitation. Remember, and that's why the district advises us against inviting students to a Google Meet through calendar.
Okay.
by giving them the link, you don't have all of those emails there. Like if all of my students were in the Google, and I unfortunately don't have any students in here. Let me just see what we got here. People, we're 0 here. I don't have any students, but any students that were online within that class would just show up here. So if you wanted to take attendance, Tom, about maybe you want to give the kids who attended this discussion extra credit, take a screenshot of the names right here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I could do that. All right.
Yeah. And take a screenshot or use your snipping tool, which is great. I love this thing. Click new and just grab all of these. Okay, great. All these kids came, they get extra credit. You're good to go. Pretty handy. Any other questions?
Is there a limit to the number of kids that could be on? Like if I want to do something with all of my classes at the same time, instead of going to each class individually.
Oh, very good idea. Yeah, invite as many as you can. Google Meet allows for 250 at a time. Not that you would ever want to run a meet like that, but if you wanted to just do a demo and have them all attend, you don't have to have them appearing here. Remember, you could go up to the grid and then just not have everybody showing up. It could just be you. They could be observing with their mute on. But yeah, when this came out, it was just 10 people. And then it was 50, and then they upped it. So yeah, I'm actually hoping the district, this is kind of like a free trial Google is giving school districts. I hope we keep this because it's got some really good potential.
Hi, this is Maureen. I was wondering, when I did this, I started presenting, and how do I pulled a
Sure.
math sheet that I wanted to do with the children, and I could type on it and they could see what I was doing, but they couldn't see my face at the same time. And is there a way to have the children have the sheet so that they can be working on it and I can see it? Or do they have to then start presenting?
Right. Unfortunately, yeah, what we would have to do, like if you wanted to present right now, I would have to stop presenting. Okay, so I would hit stop presenting.
Right.
And then you present. So unfortunately, you can't, not everybody can present and you look, that would be a neat feature. And who knows, Google may come out with it, before we know it. But what's cool about this is it's really one-on-one, but there may be maybe another type of software app that shows the teacher where everyone is when they're working. And we have it in the library and it's called Vision. And it's in some of the classroom labs at the high school. A teacher can look on and see what each of their students are doing on the computers. And it's handy in the library because we can see what kids are playing games, maybe who's watching a movie or who's not working. So it's kind of nice. But as far as I know now, that is not a feature available with Google Meet. You never know. They may develop something like that. Possible. Thanks. Any other questions? I'm going to go on the chat to see if anybody.
I have a question.
Hi, Chris.
Hi. Well, I was wondering, so I'm thinking of if I present, a meeting with kids and then someone can't make it, it would be great to record that and then,
yes,
refer them to it later. So are we okay in terms of permissions and, all that side of things for us to be recording meets that students are in?
Good question. I'm going to show you the answer right here in black and white. Keep in mind that anything that you record with you and your students is subject to FOI. I would highly recommend that you not record anything with your students in it. Not as a group, because it is basically now a record. So the district strongly advises against recording a class with students. I mean, in a perfect world, it would be nice because any of the students that missed that movie discussion could watch that and then add their own comments, you know, on a doc or something. But the district is advising us not to record meets with students.
Okay, got it.
Hi, this is Justine. I have a question also.
Hi, Justine.
Just to clarify, so I know you showed us how to send a Google Meet link, kind of like an invitation through Google Calendar. But then I thought you mentioned that district advises against using Google Calendar for Google Meet invites. Did I hear that right, or am I getting that confused?
You did, and here's what's a little confusing with that. When you're certainly welcome, and it's a great idea to send invites to colleagues that way. That's fine. When we are setting up a Google Meet and calendar with students, we're not inviting them. Here's our movie review class from 2 to 3. We're only getting the Meet ID. Okay, we're just going to copy that link and paste it in Google Classroom. Technically, we're not inviting them through it. We're just giving them the link. But
Okay.
yeah, if we went over here and invited our students, that would be wrong, because that will enable them to join the meet before you do. And that's what we want to avoid. So while we're setting the start time, the end time, and we're getting the Meet ID access code through Calendar, we're not technically inviting them through the calendar. That's a good distinction. I'm glad you brought that up.
Okay, got it. And then my other question is, if I know we are not supposed to record sessions with students, can they, if I'm the person who started the meeting, can they record it on their end, or can I only record it because I started the meeting?
That is a great question. You know what? Do me a favor, because I can't see what a student is going to see, but do you guys have the option right now to hit record? What I'd like for one of you to do is just go down below, click that bottom bar, click the 3 dots, and see if you can record.
It says stop recording.
It just says stop recording.
Okay, so then that's determined by the person who creates it, which is good news.
Okay.
Because I am creating it. But I would not think so. I don't think they could, because the district, normally anybody could start a Google Meet, but the district has disabled the ability for students to start or join a meet. So I am assuming they would, you know, turn that ability off for record and meet too. But that's a great question, Justine. Right after this, I'm going to get a student ID and try to log in. I don't imagine that they would allow a student to hit record if they wouldn't allow them to join a meet, but you never know. It's worth looking into. Thank you. That's a great question. And I think I saw another question come in right here, Google Chat. Can you reuse the same code for another meeting? Yes, that's a great question, Marty. Now, you can, so you can just have like a book chat channel, and maybe you meet once a week. You could use that same link. Yep. Now, if you do it with kids, again, set it up in Calendar. Don't invite them through Calendar, but set it up through Calendar and just give it a start and end time. Yep. But yes, you can recycle codes and reuse them. Absolutely. Any other questions?
I just put one in.
Yes, Carol.
I said, can you just review how you're presenting, and I see all your tabs?
Yeah.
How did you get those tabs up there?
Oh, my tabs up here?
Yeah.
These are actually tabs that I have open on my computer right now.
Yeah, I know, because I was just presenting this morning and my tabs weren't showing up, just I was showing up.
Oh,
How
you know
do I
what?
get my screen to show
Good
up?
question. Let me show you. You probably had it on full screen. So you would hit your options, your more options button, and you probably selected full screen inadvertently. So if I do that too, notice my tabs disappear.
Oh, okay. So I just have to make sure it's
Yeah.
not on full screen.
Yeah, if you want to access your tabs, you can just hit exit full screen, and there they are.
Okay.
Good question.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
What is, say, Lisa, what is your experience with sharing a video in real time through, is that a little bit choppy, or is it really a function of my own internet speed?
So showing a video through Google Meet to your students.
Yeah.
Good question. I've never tried that. I don't know. You would have to explore to see how well that worked, but let me open something up. All right, let's try this. So, all right, let's see what happens. It's still. Huh, that wasn't bad.
Well, it was pretty choppy on my end. And
oh, it was. Oh, okay, good to know. So that answers your question. It was very, very clear. Once it uploaded, it ran pretty smoothly. So that answers your question.
Okay, fair enough.
But what you may want to do is you could just stream it. You could provide the link. I just found out that our district is now subscribing to Swank, which is a movie streaming service that gives the viewers, you can have a broader audience. So you can show that with a larger group. So you have public performance rights with that video, and it's all legit. So basically you pay for that streaming service and they take care of all of the copyright issues and the like. But you can just upload the link to, like, we have classroom video on demand at the high school, and I don't know what they have at the other schools. They may have Discovery streaming. So basically what you would do is you would just provide the link there for your kids and just, watch this video for homework and write a summary by next week, whatever. So you would just connect the link to the movie right there as a link. If it was streamed, Chris, it would be much smoother for them. It's not just something we're kind of lifting off the internet temporarily. Not that I would recommend doing that at all, but maybe you had a concert and you filmed, the concert presentation, and then you wanted to show the kids for more like a reflective self-assessment of it. So then you could upload because you guys created it. But I would stream it through a streaming service and then just provide the link there, and then you're good to go, because then the kids can watch it on their own time, and then connectivity wouldn't be an issue. So they would have a good picture because they're doing it individually as in a whole group at the same time.
Right. And I suppose if I were, I'm thinking of like a 3-minute video from College Board talking about the AP exam logistics, kind of like, and I might be referring to it. So I'm thinking, gee, could I just say, all right, guys, open up another tab and let's all just go watch that right now on our own terms, through our own tabs. And then, in other words, keep the meeting sort of happening.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
The only problem is you have to make sure that everybody turns off their audio.
Oh, yeah.
Right. But yeah, sure, that they could watch it independently, and then you could all regroup and chat about it. Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah, good question. Very good question. Okay, I see we have some more questions up here. Let me just click on this. The waffle grid again. Yes. Good question. So anytime you want to access that, Bethany, just click on your screen and these tools will pop up here. So this one, they're pretty self-explanatory. It depends on whether or not you want to only show people with video. You don't have to. So when I click that off, notice anybody that turned off their camera, we have a nice icon of their profile image, okay, or an initial. So this way I get to see everybody that's there. Or if you only want to see participants with video, you could click that. It's just personal preference. Highlight speakers, great. I really recommend that because you know who's talking if you can't hear them. You can include yourself in the grid or not. That's fine too. You can, let's get rid of that. We can enable the grid by default. And I tend to do that because I like to be able to see people when I'm talking. I like to check back in, make sure everybody's, comfortable, doesn't have any questions. So yeah, those are some great tools. And again, that's an extension. We didn't have that initially. We got that, oh gosh, I'd say about a week into the distance learning because it was just a nice app and the IT department uploaded it on our district account. So it's quite nice. Any other questions? We've got about 5 minutes. But I do want to remind everyone that all of these workshops are going to be loaded up on the school websites. If you click on your school webpage or even the district webpage and select distance learning resources, when you click on that, you want to hit the teacher tab and scroll down past tech help and underneath professional development, I'm going to add another list here. I'm going to add all of the workshops here. And these you can all view. These were the workshops we offered and recorded the last PD day 2 weeks ago. So we're going to add the others here and you can always review these at your leisure. And lastly, if you wouldn't mind filling out the, we have a PD, I'm trying to find it in the email. My apologies. Here we go. If you wouldn't mind filling out the distance learning PD evaluation form for all of the workshops you attend today, that would be super helpful because we need ideas for next week. We're now going to be running these every Friday for you guys. So we would really love to hear you. I know as a presenter, I want to know how I can improve, but also as one of the co-chairs of the PD committee, we really want to know what you guys would like for us to offer so that we could help support you in your distance learning adventure. Any last questions or comments?
So Lisa, I think I'm going to try, I'm going to log out and then totally re-log in and hopefully that'll get me the Brady Bunch icon.
Yes, that may have been the issue. Sometimes maybe you logged in at the same time as somebody else and it just didn't appear for whatever reason. But if you log off and log back in, it should restore the default. You just want to click up here, Chris, in the upper corner, and then it should appear right up there. Are you using a school-issued device?
No, I'm accessing from my own desktop.
At home. So maybe you just have to download it. So maybe, because again, this is an extension, maybe that's why it didn't appear.
Got it. Okay.
Well, thank you all very much for coming. If chance, please fill out the evaluation form. Let us know how we can help you. And we will upload all of these videos onto our digital resources for teachers website. And I wish you all a great Friday and a happy weekend. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you, Lisa.
Bye. Great to see you all. Bye. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
And to you all.